Hey there, today we're going to be going over the listener-friendly lesson, and I created a lesson for my middle school life skills class. So it's going to be a middle school life skills class. This is something that we're going to be doing today, and I hope you enjoy. So before we start, we're going to want to do a couple of things. First things first, I'm going to want to reduce distractions in the room. So it's things like turning off monitors, making sure that nobody has their laptops out or their phones out. So I'm going to make sure that we kind of get rid of as many devices as possible. Even though it's a special ed classroom and middle school, a lot of these kids still have phones. And so we have to get them to not have those while I'm giving a lesson. I put shades on the door. This is something that just kind of happens in every single classroom I've had, where a lot of kids will be looking out this window that is in our doors. We have a little bit of a window in our doors, and all those are great things. It's just kind of hard to see. Have our students be locked in whenever they're constantly looking at people, whether it's changing classes because we have a little bit of a different schedule, or just people in the hallway. Sometimes their friends will try to pop in, and that just really distracts them from learning. So we're going to close our door. I'm going to vary my volume a lot during this lesson. I'm going to practice this lesson starting with the slide after the next slide, because this is going to be the rest of the thing. But I got to be varying my lesson with video and lecture because our students don't have the best attention span. So we got to make sure that we are varying our voice and what we're doing to keep them on their toes. The lesson that we're going to be doing today is where is our world? And so this will go over, I put the standard on the screen if you wanted to see it, but we're basically looking at where the continents are, the bodies of water, and it's just going to be really good for these students. I know we're in middle school, but we still don't have a lot of these things honed down, and this is kind of stage one of where, like, we have to know this before we can do a lot of other things with geography. And so I want to start with the continents and make sure we nail this so we won't spend too much time on it. That's why hopefully this will be a 5-minute, 6-minute start to our lesson, and then about a 15-minute activity followed by another activity. Hey guys, before we start today's lesson, we have a couple questions for you. All right, so where are the continents? So this would be whenever I pick on some of our kids and I would tell them to raise their hands. This is something that we've done in class a lot, but they will raise their hand, answer. If they say something that's not right, then we will go to the next person. And then I would ask, do humans live in all of them? And then they would tell me yes. And if they did tell me yes, then I would say, do many humans live in Antarctica? And then they probably would say something like, well, some of them do. And then I would be like, I guess you're right. So humans do live in every single one of them. And then I would ask, what is the biggest body of water? Now, this is something that is covered in our video in the next slide, but not covered in the objectives. So I'm not necessarily honing down on this, but it is good to keep students informed because we are going to be going over this. Hopefully, after we go with continents, we go straight to bodies of water. And then once we finish that, we can start getting in on North American geography, which is what we do a lot in middle school life skills. Here's our first video. All right, so Grayson, will you come up to the board and will you press on this video? It's your turn, so if you don't mind pressing on it, come up here and press it. So this would be whenever I have the students go get up from their desk, come to the smart board, press on the link, and once you press this link, I am posting hopefully the PowerPoint with this, so you should be able to see this, Professor. But it will have them go straight to our video, which is an intro continent video that I got off YouTube. It's a really good video. It goes through every single continent and kind of is a really fun one. And so they're going to be watching this video. It's about 7 or 8 minutes, so it's not too long. It'll make sure that they are still watching it, still staying engaged, but I don't want something much longer than that, because usually when we get past 10-minute videos, it's usually hard for them to stay locked in, so we need to go to the next thing. So it's about 7 or 8 minutes, and that will be all. So what did we learn, guys? Today we're going to be doing a beach ball share time. You guys know this because we do this all the time, but if you guys don't know already, here are the instructions. Raise your hand first and get the sharing a beach ball. When done, pick somebody else to go. So who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? Lydia. So I would throw the ball to Lydia. Lydia would catch the beach ball, and then she would tell me what we just learned in that video, and we would go through that. And then she would pick somebody else. So let's say she picks Grayson, and then she throws it over to Grayson. Grayson takes the ball and says something else until we run out. So this is something that we do a lot in our classroom. It's really fun. It's really engaging. Our kids love it. And it's also really fun for us teachers because it can be a little chaotic, but usually we stay on task. Sometimes I have to rein them in because they will go crazy. But beach ball share time is definitely one of my favorites, and I love doing this for videos because the kids really look forward to it, and I think it's a lot of fun. So our next is content is super facts. So guys, let's start with Grayson, then we'll go Lydia, and then me and Jackson are going to do the last one together. So size, and then I would have our kids go through it. Usually I start with one of the kids in the classroom. Sometimes I do pick student by student, just because we are working with some of our kids, and some of our kids, for example, I think I said it in the learning accommodations, is like Jackson. He has a first grade reading level. That doesn't mean that I don't want him to go up to the board and talk and try to do this on his own. But sometimes I do assist him. So sometimes I'll throw him at the last after, so we can see a couple of other people go in front of him, and then we will kind of go through it together as a third. I like doing this way, even though if we have students that can't necessarily read it, it's good to have them go up to the board, and it's good for motivation, even whenever they don't necessarily know it. Like, I want them to want to know that, and hopefully that increases their motivation during reading, so they can get better at reading at the board. And the kids really like to do this, and I don't necessarily see it as a competition. It hasn't gotten too bad, but I think this is a really good thing for all of our students, and I would have them all go through. One would go through size, one would go through oceans, and the other one will go through other facts. Obviously, we have more than three. We have 6 students in this life skills classroom that I will be taking over next year. So we would do this. All right, kids. So we have learned about all of the continents. So today we're going to see if we can name every single continent. So we have a continent quiz. So make sure you guys come up here, and whoever's first gets to take the quiz first. So students are going to take this, come and press this link. And I love doing this just because it's good for interaction in the classroom, and it keeps kids engaged. And I think it's a lot of fun. So they're going to come up, they're going to press it, they're going to take the quiz. Now, this is usually pretty funny because whenever we do these, usually other kids will be in the background kind of telling them what it is. And even funnier, sometimes they won't be right. So the kid up there will have to decide whether or not that's right. Sometimes we've even done phone a friend, stuff like that, kind of like Jeopardy, but I'm not going to incorporate it just in this talk. But this is kind of what we will do. So students will be able to take this quiz, try on their own. We'll see where we're at. I don't necessarily anticipate them getting all of them. Maybe they do, and that's really awesome. I know we're in middle school, but this isn't something that's usually taught in elementary. And so it's something we start in middle school early, and it's only 7. So there's a good chance that they can do it. Team quiz. So today what we are going to do is that I'm going to be coming around with a piece of paper, all right? And with the person to your left or right, whoever's closest, we're in rows of 2, so you guys look to the left, look to the right, see who your partner is, smile. We're going to do first person to give me their quiz and have all of the right answers gets to choose the genre of music for study hall today. All right, so the questions are, can we name all of the continents? And there are 7 of these kids. What continent are we in? What is the biggest continent? And what continent is Mexico in? So this would be whenever I run this through a kid. We do team quizzes a lot, and so we were going to be getting both. I like doing teams because it helps encourage these, and I usually change the seats often. And so these kids are going to have a partner, and they're going to do this, and a fun incentive to kind of finish it and finish it right. So I like for this a lot, and it's really fun. So we would do this in our classroom. This would be the last thing. This is the last slide. So this is the finishing of my mini lesson of continents, and it's a pretty fun lesson. It's something that I'm going to use next year.